Shut up and sit down.
Boom. Welcome to Dope and Dharma. What's up, brothers?
What up, what up?
Oh, look, man. Welcome, Trinity, to you.
Yeah, welcome to me. Yeah, I've been gone. I've been going through some surgeries and some stuff. So
Yeah.
it's good to be back.
Tumor free.
That's right, man.
COVID free.
That's right.
Listen, man. What a end of 2021. What a way.
That was pretty brutal.
That fourth quarter just try to take me out, Trinity. Just try to take me. I come into work today, and Carter and what do you call it? The staff here goes, man, 2021 tried to take you out. Abby's like, 2021 tried to take you out. I said, I know.
Well, wait. Is this the first time that you've been there in the studios or in the office since the?
No.
Okay.
No, I came in kind of hobbling, but I wasn't really working
right,
like
right.
I am now.
Gotcha.
I'm back to work now.
Okay.
I came in through. I put in a couple hours here or there, but today I'm here in Sanford. Like at work here at Telemed Clinics.
Right on.
So that was the weird thing, man. It did try to take me out. I mean, look, I'm not the only one. A lot of you out there had all kinds of things happen in 2021. I mean, it was just, you said it when we did this show, in 2020. Because everybody was always saying, "Oh, goodbye 2020, good riddance.
It's a new year."
New year.
Okay.
And then, you had said, what's going to be different in 2021, and we're like, kind of hopeful at least, right?
Yeah. Well, they can go back and watch our last show. That no,
it wasn't much different, Trinity.
Nope.
I mean, for a lot of people, they were still locked down. For a lot of people, they still couldn't get up and around like they normally would. And then for a lot of us, I mean, just to clear the air, so you all know, I mean, I ended up being diagnosed with this Meningoma tumor right here in the back of my freaking neck, and they had to take it out, from one day to the next. Last time I was in this room, matter of fact, shooting interviews for the Hope-a-thon, you were still due to come in for us to shoot your interview, and I left before you got here.
No, I got there.
To the hospital.
I was there.
You got here?
I sat in with both the sheriff and Aaron. You left right after Aaron was done.
You see? I don't even remember.
You never got to do my interview. I had to be interviewed, alone.
Oh, man.
You shafted me. That's what happened.
Yeah. So then, that happened. But here we are now. Here we are.
Yes.
That's old news. I don't even care about that anymore. The good news is that, I'm well.
Well, that's a subjective term, right? I mean,
I just hope they didn't tighten those screws too tight. I like having the screw loose, though.
Exactly.
They did find the tracker that the aliens put in me, so we took that tracker out and probably put a new model in.
What were they doing all the way down there? I thought it was up in your.
Yeah, it's where I talk out of. Trinity.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So then the hair thing. So Trinity. So did I tell you the hair story of how come I don't have my long hair now?
Oh, you don't have your long hair? I couldn't even tell.
Oh, you didn't even know?
No. I thought you had it back in the. I didn't realize it was gone.
All right. So before we get started on what I want to talk about today, so I'm in the shower, right, and I got COVID, right. So this is right after Christmas, the day after Christmas. Now my entire house has COVID, which sucks. I knew eventually it was going to hit me, and of course my favorite month, 12/21. My favorite number, 12/21, hits me COVID, right? So I go down for the count. Now, on my hair, when wet, goes all the way down to my belly, right? It's just from the top. I don't have hair on the sides and back, but from the top, it would be all the way down to my belly. It was real long.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
Oh, dude, you didn't see it. It was long. It
wow.
was long. So it was 18 inches, approximately. So I'm in the shower. Right. But I had been in bed with COVID for days. And so what happens when you have real long hair and you lay in bed for days and it's just a big rat's nest. It's matted. Bro. I mean, it's like tangled. Right. So I go in the shower and I get sick. I get nauseous in the shower and I have to vomit. Right. So I go down. Oh. But the problem, Trinity, is that I haven't been able, since the surgery, I can't go down and get back up. I can't squat. Wow. I mean, I don't have my full strength in my legs and in my body yet. So I go down and I couldn't get back up, man.
Help!
So
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm nauseous, right? Because I'm sick because of COVID. I'm additionally nauseous because it's hot in the freaking shower and steaming, and I can't breathe now. I got this mat full of hair, so I finally get myself up, standing. Man, I don't even dry off. I just wrap myself in the towel and I walk into my office and I call my Zoe up and I say, Zoe, bring the scissors.
Uh-oh.
And she goes, Dad, what are you doing? I said, Zoe, because I couldn't even fathom, because I tried to put my hand through my hair, right? And it was just a big rat's nest, and I couldn't even fathom just trying to do my hair. I was so miserable. I said, Zoe, I want you to grab all my hair, put it in one tight ponytail, and then just cut straight across.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, Dad, I don't know if you want to do that. I'll braid it for you. I go, no. I don't think you understand. This has got to go like right now.
Wow.
And that's what she did.
Wow.
She just cut it straight. So I haven't been to the place to go get it like officially cut. It's just a mess now. But I just got it cut like that. I just cut it. I said, screw it, man. I started growing it when COVID first hit. And now I got COVID. So to me, full circle, bye-bye.
Sure. Well, bro, I think it's time to trim this up too. So we'll be.
It was like 2 feet of hair, bro. It was like seriously, like
right. Wow,
crazy. So, yeah, man. So now you got to do something.
I will. No, I was gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna hack it completely off, but I think it's time to make a significant trim again. My standard every couple years.
Yeah. I got to do something. I got to figure out. I guess I'm going to go real short. Who knows what I'm going to do to my hair now. But anyway.
You can always go bald, man.
Yeah, I could, but I won't. so the point of today's show, here's my issue today, Trinity. And this is more like a Couch Live-ish kind of vibe, right? So unfortunately, I had 2 friends that lost their adult sons in this last month. I mean, not to COVID, to opioids. Right. Now, this has not gone away, people. This is still, at least in my sphere, in my circle of life, this is still the largest pandemic that kills more people than anything else. Now, I don't know about your circle. Maybe in your circle, maybe you know more people that have died from COVID. I don't know. I personally know more people that have been affected and have died from opioids, from fentanyl specifically. And so to have such 2 good friends lose their sons in this last month, I mean, it's just horrible, Trinity. And so it's like we constantly have these conversations about how dangerous opioids are and how dangerous the stuff is out there. And sometimes it could feel like you're just spinning your wheels and you're shouting from the rooftops, but people just don't care. They just don't get it. And I don't know what the solution really is. But we need something. And I kind of just want to stay positive, man. You know what I mean, Trinity? I think what I struggle with in this whole thing is that I don't stay down very long. I'm always like optimistic and always positive. Right. And what I struggle with is the fact that I know so many people don't care. They care about puppies. They care about kittens. They care about cancer. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, because they are. Sure. All those things are important. And I don't fault you for having whatever charity or you support, or whatever like makes you feel good and you want to support it. That's fine. You know, but I just can't help to sometimes get a little resentful that we get twisted and we get manipulated into thinking about topics that just really aren't that important compared to what's really important, which is our children. You know, I can't imagine losing my daughters. I couldn't imagine.
That's the one thing that you know, I feel like I'm a pretty strong individual. I've been through quite a bit in my life, and I feel like I have the ability to bounce back from pretty much anything. If there is one thing that I don't ever want to test, if my ability to persevere through is the death of a kid, man. That is my heart goes out to them, and I know exactly who you're talking about, obviously, and I just, man, and that's the other thing too is the good people. You know what I mean? Like, good people, and in theory, you're always raised with good things happen to good people. Well, not always, man. Sometimes bad things happen to good people as well, and it sucks.
And they're good families,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not like the families didn't try, and it's not like people didn't put the effort into it, and they didn't have resources and options. You know,
Yep.
the lack of resources isn't the only reason people don't get better. We're
Yep.
dealing with a disease of thinking and a disease of thought, but we're also dealing with when fentanyl's out there. You're dealing with so that a disease that if you fall off just one day, that could be it because fentanyl's out there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it doesn't offer you that opportunity to just lapse. It takes a
Yep.
lapse and it turns it into a death sentence.
And they're putting in everything. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were comparing, today's youth, if you will, going and experimenting and doing things. And I said, yeah, but you can't compare it to when we grew up. When we were kids in the 80s and 90s, somebody going and grabbing weed from your local hippie down the street was different. The odds of it having,
Are you calling me the local hippie, by the way, because I was the one serving? So I wasn't a hippie.
no, my point was, though, is what you were getting back then, the chances of it being laced with fentanyl were pretty much zero. Today, that chance has gone up significantly. So you might think you're just, they're kids, they're experimenting. Well, they might die from that. Like, times are different, man. You can't compare what we grew up with what they're growing up with now. It's just not the same.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's just like no one answer. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, the real answer is that you can't trust anything. You
No.
can't trust any product. You know what I mean? And it's like anything out there has the potential of biting you really hard.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like you said, it's in so many different things that even if you think, man, I just keep getting it from my same connection, I know my connection, I know the stuff I get. That's why I just deal with that one dealer and I don't deal with anybody else. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter,
No.
Because at least in some of these cases, the people were doing really well.
Yeah.
At least in both the two cases, by the way, these two individuals were doing well leading up to their death. So, in other words, they were doing better. They were on the other side, apparently, or at least presumably. They were spending time with their family again. They were laughing and joking again, building memories again. And then, of course, unfortunately, you never know what's going on in someone else's mind.
Yep.
And here's really the conversation for all of you is I don't know what's going on in your mind. I mean, sometimes you don't even know what's going on in your mind. Sometimes you just wake up in a funk. I mean, this last quarter, for instance, is out there as I have been my entire life. I've been in front of cameras and microphones my entire life. And how was I in this quarter? That fourth quarter, Trinity? I didn't want to talk to people.
Yeah.
I was offline. I was off social media until yesterday.
Right.
I was completely off social media until yesterday, meaning I did not look at one post on social media until yesterday. That is how disconnected I felt. And I don't even understand depression to the point where feeling it wise. I know how to feel depressed as much as I know how to feel guilt. And I don't know how to feel guilt, and therefore I don't know how to feel depression. What I know how to feel is either I have energy or I don't have energy, and I have to learn how to identify that as a color, much like trying to teach the color green to someone who's colorblind.
Right.
You know what I mean? You think you know what green is, but if you're colorblind, no matter how do you explain the color green to a colorblind person? And that's how I am about feelings and emotions. I've had to learn feelings and emotions from a person who is absent of understanding those feelings and emotions from an internal level.
Right.
Something got turned off real young, and I had to learn how to empathize for people. I had to learn how to care for myself. I had to learn how to be authentic to myself. That didn't come natural. And so when I just shut down, I can just assume that it's a form of depression, or because I'm being avoidant. I'm avoiding. I'm doing some of the characteristics, right?
Right.
I bring all that up because now take, for instance, someone who's brand new in their recovery, and they're experiencing just an avoidance. They don't want to share certain things. or they're afraid to share with you because they've been doing so well. And because they've been doing so well, they don't want to trouble you with them having a craving or a bad moment. And unfortunately, with fentanyl out there, that moment that you're having, that you're wanting to just go out there and taste something just today, or just escape just today, that you may not have that luxury. At least that's what happened with these two young men, and both of them in their mid-20s. Both of them in their 20s. It's such a young generation. Just think about how much you've done, Trinity, since your 20s.
Oh God,
Just think about how much life you've experienced since your mid-20s.
Oh yeah. Most of my memories right now that I recall that were fond or enjoyable happened after 20.
Right.
I mean, up until that point, obviously, I thought that life before 20 was all there was. But as I've gotten older, no, man, it actually gets so much better technically.
Right.
Real quick, what's up, Dr. Rob? He said hi to us. He said welcome back.
What's up, brother? How you doing? Hopefully things are good in Texas.
Yeah, he's doing big things out there. Actually, I've been seeing a lot of his posts. So, yeah, man, it's interesting because I saw a post. It made me kind of think very similar to what you're talking about right now. Somebody posted something the other day. I was just scrolling through and I saw it, and I meant to actually ask you about that. And I just never, we haven't really communicated a whole ton lately, so I didn't get the chance. But they said that they missed cocaine. I was just like, that's an interesting.
You missed cocaine?
Yeah, they said I missed cocaine. I was like, wow, okay, but it makes you think though, right? Like, because there's other people I know of as well who've had their moments, or maybe they're in the beginning stages of trying to get things differently, and they do. I think sometimes they romanticize, and they miss what they think to be, the good times. And so I think that it's not unheard of, like you said, for them to, especially early on, to start to think about slipping up, or maybe just one more time, or just you just get so wrapped up in what you thought the good times were that it's so tempting, especially now with all the stuff that's happening. It's very easy to want better. It's very easy to think back to a memory like, oh, why can't it be like that again? So I get it.
Well, and the biggest reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I know that so many of you out there know somebody who is suffering, and it makes me think, Trinity, like we joke around a lot about, like, man, I don't know the words, and I got 1,000 words in my brain, and I don't know the words. You know what I mean? I've been in this situation 1,000,000 times, and I don't know the words. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to make you feel better. I just know how to be there for you. Yeah. And sometimes that's all you can do. You just got to be there for them, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, when the second one called me, what about, it was close to midnight the other night, and then you hear this kind of news, and it's like, all of a sudden you're just like in, I'm just going to be here for you mode. I'm not trying to search for the right words to tell you. I don't want to try to search for some sort of saying or some sort of, there's nothing.
Yeah, but it's kind of easy to get. It's kind of easy to shove it under the rug, though, if I'm honest. You said earlier that people are still talking about it. I don't hear as many people talking about it anymore. It seems like leading up to COVID, it was gaining some steam, right? Like, we were hearing more and more people talking about it. Funding was happening. Bills were being put into place. And then, like, COVID hit, and it all changed. And it was kind of like swept under the rug. There was still certain groups or certain pockets of people saying, hey, it's actually getting worse now because of COVID. But now it's like all people want to talk about is the like masks or the latest variant or whatever it might be. But it doesn't seem to be this realization of the entire time this has been happening, deaths have still been occurring this entire time.
Yeah. Well, they do talk about it when they want to link it back to COVID.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Everything, all roads go back to COVID, and all roads get political. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, I that is the frustration part, Trinity. But that's why we exist, right? That's why people like us exist, and that's why we keep talking about it. We keep the conversation going.
Yes, sir.
Because I got to be honest with you, I live for my dead people. I would love to say that I live for my living people, but I don't. I live for my dead people. In other words, those are the ones that inspire me. There's so many people that are so much better people than I've been in my life, and they're not here with us. Um, you know, they didn't have this beautiful life that I got. They didn't get all these blessings that I got. They didn't get the Dana. They didn't get the Zoe. They didn't get the Dahlia. Uh, they didn't get, this success that I've been able to be blessed with. You know what I mean? And so, what did I do differently? Why do I deserve such things? And so, instead of fighting that battle like I used to in my 20s, I just take that as an inspiration and say, all right, well then, how about they don't die? How about they live within me, and I'm doing it for all of us, Pete. You know what I mean? All my boys, all my girls, all my people that have ever been in contact with me. The other day I just came to the realization that I know more. If you add them all up, I know more dead people than I currently know living people.
Wow.
I just know that many. There's that many names and faces swirling in my head because I've just been doing this for 30 years. And even before these 30 years, I knew dead people. So then these 30 years of helping people, unfortunately, a lot of people don't make it.
Yeah.
And so you could focus on all the people that didn't make it out of that burning building, or you could focus on that one person you brought out of the building. Well, that one person I brought out of the building is what makes it worth it. But I got to keep getting in the burning building for the ones that didn't make it out. Because each one of them come with a set of parents. Each one of them comes with brothers and sisters and friends and so many other people.
Yep.
And it's so generational, right? I remember this one kid that I had been helping, and he ended up dying in a parking lot of a Publix, right? Like someone just left him there in a parking lot of Publix. Well, he had just had a kid that month. And it was a New Year's, by the way. It was a New Year's. It was probably, 1998-ish or 1999. It's probably going into 1999. And he had just had a kid. All right, so let's put that in perspective. That kid right now is like 21, 22 years old.
Wow.
I hope that kid is not suffering the trauma so deeply of losing his dad before he was ever even born. To the point where he's got his own problem right now.
Right.
I don't know. Because I don't know where the kid is. But I remember his father. And I remember how happy his father was that he finally had a kid. But he didn't make that New Year's Eve night. He didn't make it out the other side.
Right.
So it's those kinds of things. It is generational, man.
Sure.
And you may not think that if you're watching this and you're listening to this, you may not even think that your life is that significant. You may think, well, who would care if I wouldn't be here anymore? A lot of people, and it's probably going to be people you don't even know that care as deeply as they do. There's a lot of people out there that care for you, and you just don't know because maybe you're afraid to know. Maybe by knowing, it would put too much burden on you, or you'd feel like too much pressure or weight. But you don't have a say-so in that. You don't have a say-so in how much we feel for you. You don't have a say-so in how much we care for you. And you don't have a say-so in how significant your life is to us. If I choose to make your life valuable to me, then that's my choice. That's the risk, and that's the blessing we all take as human beings of connection.
I'll second that actually, because over the last, I'd say, month and a half or something. I've learned about it over the last probably 2 weeks, but it's happened over the last month or two. Like you, I was kind of unplugged for a little bit. There's a lot of stuff happening in my house, and there's a lot of stuff happening around. So I kind of just, I isolated just a little bit to kind of just circle the wagons, if you will. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've also been kind of touching out and just, catching up on things. And there was a couple deaths that I saw. I don't know. I don't think either one of them were drug related. I didn't investigate too much, but one of them was somebody I used to go to school with, and there was another one. It was somebody that I knew was her husband in the past. So it was two of them, and one of them was really young, man. Well, I say really young. He was like my age, 40, 41, something like that. But he was in great shape, took care of himself, and passed away unexpectedly. And neither one of these two people are people I've spent a significant amount of time with in my life lately. But their deaths really hit me. I was just like, dang, man. As I've gotten older, I appreciate life in general much more than I ever used to. And so, kind of in line with what you were saying, you don't know the impact of the people you're having around you. You don't know what your death would matter. You do matter. It might not matter the way you process it. In other words, them passing obviously isn't the same as if one of my children passed or my wife or my mother. But I guarantee you, had you asked them prior to that if I would have cared about their death, they probably would have said, "Oh no, he's living his life." But I did. Like when I saw it, I was just like, "Damn!" Like it really set me back for a minute. And so that's the thing is even us, there's so many people that message us about things that I had no clue that they were looking or watching or doing anything, and then they'll reach out, and I never would have guessed in a million years we were on their radar in any way, shape, or form. And so I think there's many people that are like that, and I think social media actually opens that up more so than ever before. Like, because it's so possible now to have like a window into somebody else's life, and find motivation or inspiration through other people without ever letting them know that you see it. And so you have no clue just by you living your life how many people you're affecting and touching.
Right. And I think that's pretty significant, right there.
It's pretty awesome, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's really significant of each and every one of you, regardless of your circle of influence that you're aware of. There's always another circle of influence that you may not even be aware of. Hell, man, it could just be the person at the store that's just used to you coming in every time for your morning coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might mean something to that person in a way that if something should happen to you, they'd feel some type of way about it. I mean, we joke a lot that says, people just don't care. And when we say that, we mean that they don't care about a lot of the little things that you think they care about.
Right.
A lot of the, that zit in the middle of your forehead, people don't care.
Nobody cares.
Care. They're worried about you looking at the zit in the middle of their forehead. They don't care about that. But when it comes to you not pulling through an illness, or you struggling with an illness, or you losing a family member, or you losing your own life, they care, man. They care enough, and it's because we can't help but think about somebody else as well.
Right.
Whenever you lose one person, it reminds you of something, whether it be a past experience you had, or whether it be someone else you knew, whether it be your own kids, your own parents, like when you hear of someone losing their parent, and if you still have a living parent, it makes you think about, wow, I would hate to be feeling that right now about my parent.
Right.
And so like when you hear about someone losing their kid, I mean, I can't help but think, wow, man, my two kids are not that far in age from their kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
And as I'm here celebrating, and feel very blessed that I have my daughters, and, next month we celebrate our oldest daughter's wedding. Somebody else, they've celebrated their last celebration with their kid. That was it. They didn't get another one.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
So what is some Dharma stuff? I mean, people must come to you, Trinity, because you're supposed to have the answers, right? You're a spiritual advisor. So, so don't you feel pressure sometimes that you got to have some of the right words to say to people when they're in times of crisis?
Every day, but I don't. That was something that I struggled with actually early on. Is sometimes there isn't the right answer.
Right.
Sometimes, like you said, there's just be present. That was a phrase that was very hard for myself, like to learn. But I've gotten better at over the years, and that is, I don't know what to say right now other than I'm sorry and I'm here. Like the idea of saying I don't know what to say is hard because people do look for answers and they do expect some sort of magical solution to come out, because at the end of the day, so many of us are hurting, and we don't want to hurt anymore. And so we think that there's something that can be said or done that can just magically take this hurt away, and sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's just you got to work through it, you got to process it. And I think these last year or two, if it's done anything, it's shown us that. There's been a lot of hurt and a lot of pain over these last couple of years. And you had everything that just normally would have existed as is, and then you throw on top of all that all the politically charged things that have happened, the very public deaths and things of that nature, the COVID, like just so it's like this weird kind of pressure cooker, as you pointed out many times before. And so Yeah, man. I think that, but at the same token, to keep it on a positive note, I can't help but to feel good about it, though, in the sense that it provides us an opportunity, right? Like, it provides us an opportunity to wake up and say, okay, there's a different way then. Look at what the last 2 years have brought us and how we've all responded to it. There could be many arguments to be made that we didn't really respond very well to it, which means there's room for improvement. So, okay, well, what can we do differently? How can we approach things differently? Like, I know myself, I'm more aware of people's day-to-day lives than I've ever been before, as far as, how they're feeling and what they're thinking. Like, I've made a lot of personal growth, and the only reason why I've had to do that is because I've seen how I've responded to certain things in the last 2 years. So, I mean, for me personally, I think with any loss, there's a teaching moment, and that to me is where the positive, mindset comes into play. Is what kind of teaching moment have we had these last 2 years with everything, not just the drug world, but just in general. There's been so many moments of loss. Like we've taken an L, man. As a whole, we've taken a pretty big L the last 2 years, if I'm honest.
Right.
We've not handled things well. We've been fighting, horribly with one another. Like if you took a snapshot of just the last 2 years and that's all we got to see, humans kind of suck. So for me, that's just an eye-opening thing. So yeah, we made a lot of progress since we were, in caveman days, but there's still progress to be made, and I think we have the tools and the know-how to do that. And I'm hoping that the last 2 years have given us the motivation to do that, because I see it turning to the tides, man. If I'm honest, when I'm out talking to people or I'm communicating, I do see a softer tone starting to kind of appear. It took a while, but I'm seeing a softer tone kind of break through the cracks a little bit. People are a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more understanding, and it's finding that balance, right? Because I don't mean, when I say understanding and compassion, I'm not talking about the wokeness, the politically charged stuff. I'm talking about just the genuine caring about other human beings. It's starting to kind of seep through the cracks a little bit, man. It really is. I mean, I don't know the circle that you're running around, but I assume it's the same. But just the postings that I'm seeing, the interactions that I'm getting into with people, the conversations that I'm having, it just seems like people have had enough of the darkness, and they're starting to kind of like wanting to be the light now, which I think is really cool.
Good. Yeah, well, I mean, that's real encouraging.
Yeah.
Because I look, we know how politically charged the last 2 years have been.
Yeah.
It was longer, really. I mean, it's more than the last 2 years, but
Yeah.
but over the last 2 years, we needed to unite, and we didn't. We thought we were going to unite, and we didn't. So that's really good to hear. I think the biggest change that I've noticed is that there is a lot more commercial influence in regards to breaking the stigma of having struggles,
Yeah.
which I think that's the positive. I mean, we got to thank the Michael Phelps of the world for what they've done in regards to coming out with their own issues that has brought that to the attention. So if wokeness has done anything really good, I think that's one aspect where I think the wokeness has really helped.
Well, there's a perfect example of that just happened. Antonio Brown. When that whole thing happened years ago, it would have immediately turned into he's a horrible person, a bad teammate. And while you still have some individuals stating that, the overwhelming immediate response from everybody that I heard was, hey, he's obviously got some mental health issues. Let's support him, and he needs to get some help, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't a lot of finger pointing. It wasn't a lot of judgment. It was just, dude's obviously going through something, and I hope he gets help. That was much different than like 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Huge difference.
Less, like when he left Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
When he left my Steelers, I don't think people were so concerned with his mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's those kinds of things, man. Look, at the end of the day, we're all inspired. Our actions are inspired by whatever's going on inside of us. So the more we clean up the street inside, the more we keep it as neat and clean as we can, and the more we, instead of shoving more crap in, you kind of do some cleaning house, and however that means for you, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
Everybody has a pressure cooker. Everything out there in the real world that holds pressure has a release valve, has a pressure release valve. You have to know what your pressure release valve is, so you can go, Because if you don't let it out, if you don't let that pressure out, the reality is reality. If something is pressurized and it doesn't have that pressure release valve utilized, then it's going to explode. Well, we're no different. We just need to know our own personal pressure release valve. And here's the thing, Trinity. Back in my early years, when I was using and all that stuff, I thought the pressure release valve was just partying. In other words, if you would have come to me with a problem, and anybody watching this that knew me as a teenager knows what my therapy was going to be. If you came around me as a teenager and you said, "Oh, I'm suffering this, or I'm struggling this, or this girl cheated on me," I'm going to hand you a joint. I'm going to hand you some cocaine. I'm going to hand you a drink, and I'm going to try to get you a girl. And I'm going to say, "This is the therapy. This is the solution," because I thought everything could be resolved with getting high or getting physical attention from a female. I thought that is the that is the a cure for everything.
Take 2 of these
right?
and call me in the morning.
Right. And so when you don't have that, or you don't utilize that as your go-to, then what? Now where's your pressure release valve? Because that may feel like a pressure release valve, and to a lot of people that may be effective, but it's not a sustainable effective method. In other words, it's not something you can utilize on a regular basis, and it's going to continue to give you the same results on a regular basis. Eventually, it becomes its own issue. You continue to use something like that, it's going to become its own animal. It's going to become its own situation.
Yep.
And now, where's the release from that then? You know what I mean? So what's more sustainable is trying to figure out a pressure release that is sustainable, like artistic method, like writing, coloring, painting, sculpting, singing, acting, dancing, whatever. But that even alone is not enough, because at the end of the day, it's all about connecting with somebody or something else. And I say that because we've all known troubled artists that have written their pain out, and man, as much as we can all identify with it and go like, God, that just speaks to me, man. You know what I mean? Like Kurt Cobain's music, that just, that speaks to me.
Right.
Stapp stuff is intense, man. You listen to any of Stapp's writings, and it's like, woo, for anybody that's ever suffered addiction, you're like, man, that speaks to me. But even Scott was struggling, and as good as he was writing, it wasn't all his therapy. It looked like his therapy, it sounded like his therapy, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't until we connect with another human being and powers that are greater than us. And what I mean by that is purpose greater than just this human simplicity. Whatever that means to you, man. You want to look on the dark side of the moon for aliens? Great. You want to look to the heavens for God? Great. But it's a connectivity with powers much greater than this simplistic view that you can't help but have, because we're on a need-to-know basis, and this is all we see and all we know. But it's not all there is.
No.
Just because you don't know it, or just because you can't see it, or just because you can't feel it, doesn't mean that this is all there is. The simplicity of what we see is that's we're on a need-to-know basis. It's like, I connect with you, Dharma, but that doesn't mean you're the only Dharma out there.
Nope.
It just means that you're the Dharma I know. And so since you're the Dharma I know, you're the Dharma that I embrace. And so that is fine. But then we go out there and if something should happen to our Dharma and we go, oh, now I have nobody. No. You just need to keep reaching out. There's another Dharma out there for you. There's another person out there for you. And I think that's the real lesson that we got to take into this new year, Trinity. I think the lesson we got to take into this new year is that regardless of how much this has kicked your butt in the last year or so, the good thing about a new year is that we're motivated for a new perspective. We're motivated for a change. We're motivated in these initial 30 days. We're motivated.
Yep.
Some of us a lot less. Some of you have already. The week is almost up and you're already done. But we do know that New Year's do motivate most people, at least for short spurts, right?
Yeah, just drive by the gym.
Take advantage of it. You got to grab onto it, man, and take advantage of it. And don't worry about that it's not going to last. Don't worry about that if it's not going to keep. Don't worry about that you might have already fallen off the wagon and it's already only what is it today? The 7th? What is that?
Today is the 7th, yes.
7th, yeah. So don't worry about that. The key is that take advantage of all the energy that's out there, and everybody wants to start something new and fresh in a new year. Take advantage of that momentum. It's like be like a salmon. I mean, don't be like a salmon. Be like the other kind of fish that just like go with it. You know what I mean? Like whatever the stream's going, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna be like a surf monkey, which I am, man. I'm just gonna get on the surf and just ride it out.
Sure.
See, John Ferris has seen me surf backwards in California. Where I just went with the surf. It just took me all the way back to the shore.
Yeah,
I still laughs about it when he pictures that.
I'm sad that I was not able to watch that happen.
Oh, brother, you would have laughed your butt off. You would have had it for the rest of your life. But you know what? I was satisfied to surf backwards all the way back to the shore on my belly. I was done paddling. Excuse me. I was done paddling, Trinity. I was gladly go backwards all the way back to shore because I was done. And sometimes you just got to go with the surf. Stop fighting it. Stop going against it. You may think you're supposed to go in on your feet looking forward, but, sometimes you just got to go on your belly backwards. And you know what? It's just the way that's just the way the ride is. And it was a beautiful ride. To me, I surfed.
Sure, that's all that matters.
And the next time I went forwards on my belly, and guess what? I surfed that time too, Trinity.
There you go. That's all that matters.
So that's what I want to take into the new year, man. It's not about that it's got to be better than last year. It's got to be so different than last year. I just want to grab whatever momentum's around me, and I want to grab all the people around me, and I look forward to all the new experiences. There's going to be a lot of new experiences,
Yeah.
And I want to feel blessed to have them, and I want to always understand that I'm a blessed individual, that I'm experiencing them. I don't ever want to feel entitled to this life. I don't want to ever feel entitled to my next breath. I want to feel blessed as if I just, and I've used this since the day that I got clean and sober. I want to walk out in this world like I just got off a death row, like I was just pardoned. Like I thought for sure, I was going into my death sentence, and all of a sudden, they open it up and says, Mr. Delgado, you're free to go. That's how I want to experience life. I want to smell the outdoor air like I haven't smelled it in forever, and I never thought I was going to smell it again. I want to feel that sun on me like I've never felt before. I want to feel every little tingle and every little bead of sweat, and I want to embrace it. And instead of getting angry with it, I want to just be like, I am a grateful man to be sweating right now, because that means I'm feeling. And thank you very much for that. That's the way I want to go forward, and I hope that all of you
sounds like a good way to be.
Celebrate the new year in a similar fashion.
Yeah, Kevin Healy just commented and said, gratitude, baby, gratitude. I agree.
Absolutely, man. I love Kevin.
And
Kevin just told me he and his family went down with COVID, and then I go down with COVID like the very next day.
Wow. Kevin also commented earlier, and when we were talking about Antonio Brown, he said they were driven by Tom Brady's statements for compassion, which I would agree with. Vivian Gold said, hi, guys. Hey, Vivian, how you doing?
What's up?
Cindy Beasley said, hey, Louie. And then Marissa said she didn't know why she wasn't notified that we were on. We haven't been on for a little while, so you might have to go and renew your little notifications to let you know that we're on. And then she also said you got to stop scaring her. You need to wear bubble wrap from now on. That I would pay to see. Just wrap you in bubble wrap. I would like to see that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll come up with a uniform like that from the golf tournament. I'll come in bubble wrap.
My kids would all come up and start popping though.
That's fine. I probably will pop it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just a beautiful thing, man. 2022. My daughter gets married 2/22/22.
That's awesome.
I'm a numbers guy, so I love it. So that's it, man. So you got any final words that you want to share with us?
No, just, welcome back to you and to us, I guess, collectively. Looking forward to 2022. Looking forward to get back on the grind with everybody. If you're watching this right now, we're back, so we're going to start to be a little bit more consistent again and getting back into the routine. So if you got any ideas for show topics or something you want us to discuss or go over, by all means, reach out to us, send it to us, and we'll do our best to cover it. We have so we're doing Tuesday Dharma time. We're planning on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to talk about connection.
Monday will be the Couch Live at the radio station.
Yep. So on Tuesday, I think we're going to talk about connection. That's what I think I'd like to talk about. So since you mentioned it here, so if you're watching us live now, go ahead.
Eventually I want to.
We're out of practice, man. What's the deal here?
We're out of practice. Yeah. I look, one of these days, and I don't know what day we're just going to turn on the microphones and camera, but we're going to talk about this vaccination stuff.
Oh yeah.
We got.
That's a must.
As I cough.
Right.
Because I'm sick of all the hating on the unvaccinated. I mean, we can't. Everybody hating on the unvaccinated has got to end. That's got to end. That's got to. If you're an individual, I'll say at least this one sentence. If you're an individual out there that says this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, shut the hell up. You have no freaking clue what you're talking about. This is a pandemic of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
Stop blaming the unvaccinated as if they're the only people that get it and pass it on, because that's not who gave it to me, and I'm vaccinated. And I could have gave it to you whether I'm vaccinated or not. So this is anybody still talking like that is a hater, is a hate monger, is a political tool, or just plain you're a tool. So anyway, I had to at least say that because that really pisses me off.
No, we'll get there.
I'm so sick of hearing any people that are supposedly intelligent saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated and that somehow my vaccination helps you. My being vaccinated doesn't help you, Trinity. My vaccination helps me, if that. There's no proof of that, but that's if that. The vaccination helps me. It's a selfish thing. That's what the commercials to say. Be selfish, get vaccinated. Not get vaccinated for your community. My community, I can still kill my community. If I'm vaccinated and positive, I can still kill you. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever, man. Anyway.
Right on.
That's it, man. That's it.
So we got.
You got nothing left?
No, man. Just let's get started. Let's get the new year going.
All right. So adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.